Hey, I'm Brendan Fitzgerald, and this week's C-VILLE cover story is about the other show, which is at the PVCC's V. Dickinson building. It's up through August, and perhaps you recognize this lady to my left. She was on our cover this week. This is actually a photograph taken by a fellow named Chris Norris. He's a Richmond-based artist, does a bunch of different work, mostly a painter, but this is a photograph he took with a collective called Feast. And this sort of gets at the nature of the entire PVCC show. You know, everyone has their main type of work as an artist, but Rob Tarbell, who's a curator here and teaches at PVCC, sort of asked 20 artists to submit something regular, something a little different. So we're going to take a stroll around and show you a bit of what this show has to offer. So we're in front of Tommy White's Marble Boy, and Tommy's typically a painter. There's another Richmond artist that Rob knows, but this is his other piece. Marble Boy was inspired by a ghost story in Savannah, Georgia that Tommy heard. And so it's a nice little interactive piece. You know, you pull out this little panel on the bottom and marble comes out, and you can sort of throw them in the top here. So Sarah, our art intern, and I are going to drop some marbles and set them rolling. And so you can probably hear that clacking. Each one of the marbles is weighted differently, and so it'll press down on different wooden panels while they're rolling down. So I'm standing in front of Alyssa Solomon's Vague Apocalypse, and this is her other piece for the show. On the other side of the gallery, Alyssa has a daguerreotype, sort of antiquated style of making this interesting lacquered texture sort of piece. But her radio piece, it's a broadcast of a couple different radio bits about natural disasters, as well as Blue Skies by Irving Berlin, played on accordion. It's sort of an eerie combination. There are actually radio transmitters hidden in the gallery, a couple different spots, and you can pick up the broadcast in the gallery parking lot on your car stereo on 98.9 FM and 101.3 FM. Pretty cool. So I'm in front of a couple prints by Jake Urbanski right now. He's another Richmond artist, and he worked a lot with food for this show. On the other side of the gallery, there's some t-shirts that he made with a collective of folks, sort of pieced together from scanned images of meat and bread and vegetables. Really kind of neat, so you could essentially special order sandwich in t-shirt form. It's kind of cool. But this side is the sort of even more interesting part. The top image is a digital print of a piece made by melting popsicles onto paper, and the bottom is a light sensitive print of the same. Now, when I first came to see this, this was completely covered up. Since the show opened, the cover was removed and it's been exposed to light. And so it's sort of turning a vaguely brownish color that's going to intensify as the show goes on. So anyone that would consider buying a print from Jake would have to decide whether they want the really crisp, colorful digital version, or the more authentic one that's actually going to become this really sullied, muddy brown color. So I'm standing in front of a painting by Matthew Lively, and Lively is the only artist that appears here under two different names, Matthew and Matt. That's because for Matt's other work, he produces it entirely under a different name, or an abbreviated version of his own. So Matt Lively shows a lot more frequently in Richmond. He does these sort of personified 1940s suburban houses, pictures of the interiors in a really active, sort of frenzied state, or pictures of the exteriors sort of picking up and lifting off of these neighborhood streets. But behind me, this is part of a project he organized involving a bunch of models of miniature sheep and some paintings of them as well. So this is from another exhibit that Matthew Lively never got to show. So Matthew, everybody's got another. Come check out the PVCC show.